getting hurt is a good thing.
Peace, peace, there we go, peace, peace, up, peace.
Okay, that guy took me a little bit too literally. What's up, guys? Alec on Kira here. And today I'm going to tell you guys why getting injured in the gym is actually a blessing in disguise. Now, am I saying that you should drop a 45-pound plate onto your toes the next time that you're in the gym, or load 300 pounds more than your max bench onto the bar and just take it for a spin? No, of course not at all. But be sure to film it if you do. The fact is, though, if you are training hard and trying to improve your physical abilities or overall size and physicality, you will almost certainly get hurt eventually. And knock on wood, and I wish you all the best, and I genuinely, truly hope that you never do. But it is pretty much inevitable that eventually, if you stay with this game, which is a requirement for making impressive gains, that you will sustain an injury of some degree of severity at some point or another along the way. And you can curse my name, you can tell me that I'm an asshole, that I'm full of shit, that I don't know what I'm talking about, whatever you want to say. But it don't change the facts, man. These things are a part of the game, and they happen sometimes. What really separates the wheat from the chaff here is your outlook, how you view the thing, right? This is going to largely determine not only what your level of recovery is from the injury, i.e. how fully you're able to rehabilitate yourself, but also what you are able to glean from the experience, what you're able to learn from it, what value that you're able to take away from it moving forward to use to your benefit in the future. Because the fact is, there's actually a heck of a lot to learn by getting hurt. It's not a curse or a death sentence. It's an obstacle that needs to be overcome, but in many ways, this actually makes it a blessing in disguise. And today, I'm going to give you guys two pretty big reasons why that is. And just real quick, guys, if you're in the market for a top-notch meal prep company, then be sure to check out FlexPro meals and use code ONKIRIELITE for 20% off your order. The link is in the description. The food's legit. It usually arrives in just a couple days. They have a bunch of different high-protein meal options, and it's a really easy and convenient way to help keep your diet and your macros on track. And now, back to your regularly scheduled program. Reason number one. It gives you the opportunity to learn rehabilitation techniques. So it's now largely accepted that stimulation is the key to full rehabilitation. Sure, merely sitting around and waiting for time to elapse will allow inflammation to subside. It might even allow broken bones to mend. But true recovery to 100% and beyond requires stimulation. Tissues need to be exposed to the appropriate stressors in a progressive and gradual fashion. This allows them to become stronger and more resilient and slowly handle a greater variety of physical tasks without pain or issue. And these are essentially the theories that the current physical therapy model is based on. Now, the practical execution of those theories is not something that I think is always done in the best manner, and you could do a whole video on that topic in and of itself. But the theories themselves are sound. A properly implemented rehab protocol reduces the likelihood that somebody who acquires an injury and recovers from it will end up feeling like that area was, quote unquote, never the same again after the injury. That's something that you hear often from people who were hurt, right? As well, it increases the likelihood that they will eventually be able to perform at the same level or perform at a higher level than they were capable of before the injury occurred. Further, it is always in an individual's best interest to become their own best advocate. The healthcare profession does its best, and medical intervention is invariably going to be a requirement when catastrophic injury is involved. But most weight training injuries are not catastrophic. Most weight training injuries are not the ones that you see in those epic fail videos on YouTube. Most weight training injuries are little dings, little cuts and bruises, and even little mystery tweaks. And these little dings and bruises and mystery tweaks are sometimes dismissed or simply not handled well by practitioners. The wrong doctor is going to tell you to rest it, ice it, and take ibuprofen. Hard stop. This advice is going to leave you trapped in a cycle of pain and injury. This leaves people frustrated, potentially in chronic pain, and often, sadly, incapable of performing the activities that they love to do. It's also not necessarily feasible to go to a physical therapy clinic every time that you begin to present with moderate tendinopathy or a dull but persistent ache. In the United States, for example, unless you want to pay for the physiotherapy out of pocket, which isn't cheap, then you have to get a referral from an orthopedist to justify the therapy being paid for by insurance, which means you have to see that specialist, the ortho, before you can see the physiotherapist. This may or may not be feasible on a frequent or semi-frequent basis depending on what your insurance is as well as your income level. As well, many insurance plans require a referral from a primary care physician before you can see a specialist. So now, if you want your PT appointment, you have to 1. Visit a general care practitioner. 2. Hope he doesn't dismiss you and send you home with nothing but an ibuprofen prescription and an ice pack. 3. Get a referral from the GP to see the ortho. 4. Visit the ortho. 5. Hope he doesn't send you home with nothing but a prednisone prescription, an ice pack, and some stretches. 6. Get the referral to the physio. And then finally, 7. Visit the physio clinic. You did it, man. Congratulations. Never mind the fact that with COVID, doctors' offices often seem to be fully booked for months in advance. At some point, it's really just easier to do your research and learn a few effective techniques that work well for you. Become your own best advocate. It's really not that hard. By learning and practicing these theories and these ideas, you take another step towards self-sufficiency in your training. Because if injury is inevitable, recovery is not. But with these tools available in your toolbox, you will be able to give yourself the most certainty of it being an inevitability just as well. And there's really no better way to learn than trial by fire. If an injury finally forces your hand and provides you with the canvas that's needed to work with, then I consider that a blessing in disguise. And once you've learned these techniques, they will serve you very well for the rest of your life. And reason number 2, it forces you to change what you're doing. So we all fall into certain patterns, right? We like something or we're good at something, and so we enjoy doing that particular thing. With that, we get better at it, which makes us actually enjoy it more, and as such, this continually feeds the cycle. And weight training is no different. We're all drawn to certain exercises, techniques, methods, or styles of training. These styles and methods and techniques give us really good progress in the gym for a while, which strengthens that natural draw, and so we subsequently become somewhat emotionally attached to them. This happens to pretty much all of us, right? We all go through these phases where we're emotionally attached to particular methods or exercises or techniques or whatever. It's kind of like the person that you lost your virginity to, right? The difference between weight training and many other endeavors, however, is that with weight training, often one of the best things you can do is the thing that you are currently not doing. The fresh stimulus, the thing that you are less adapted to. Never mind the fact that injury is actually often a consequence of doing too much of the same thing for too long. But when something does injure you, it's often wise or simply your only choice to no longer do that particular thing until you are recovered from the injury. Thus, when you are injured, you're forced to change things up. You're forced to do something different, to learn a new method or style or technique or exercise. And this fresh stimulus will not only help you to recover from the injury, but it will also likely spur on new gains during your recovery as well, simply because it's not something that your body is acclimated to. As well, now you have a new tool in your toolbox, right? A new weapon in your arsenal that you can use moving forward, even after you've long since recovered from the injury that forced you to learn it in the first place. It's like moving to a new country. You have to learn how to speak the language there, otherwise you'll never make it, right? So with great difficulty, you eventually learn. But you don't forget your native tongue. So now you know 2 languages. Now you can move back and forth between the new country and the old country and fit right in both places. It's the same thing with learning a new technique or exercise or training style, right? You expand the toolbox, you expand your options, and with this greater pool of knowledge, you make better gains in the long run while hopefully being more resilient and being less likely to re-injure yourself down the road. Like I said at the beginning of the video, there's a lot to learn by getting hurt. It's actually a great tool. It's a blessing in disguise. It presents you with a challenge to overcome and material to work with in order to do that. And you owe it to yourself to do what needs to be done in order to overcome this challenge. That includes learning many valuable new skills that will serve you very well for the duration of your training career and your life. And this last part shouldn't need to be said, but don't be stupid about things, right? Don't go searching for an injury just to give yourself a mountain to climb. But if you should find yourself facing that mountain anyway, then just remember it's not a bad thing. It may be daunting at first, but all you have to do is climb it, one step at a time. And when you do, you will be much higher than you were before you ever stumbled across it. Anyway, it's pretty much all I got for today, guys. If you enjoy these types of videos or you simply find them informative, please remember to hit the like button and leave me some love in the comments down below before you go. The engagement is really helpful for my channel. If you find the info here helpful and you just want to throw some support my way, check out OnCarryEliteFitness.com for online coaching, training programs. Be sure to pick up one of my templates. I've sold a few thousand of those over the last couple of years since I released them, and the gains people have been reporting back to me have been freaking awesome, man. Check me out on Patreon as well. It's patreon.com/OnCarryElite. That's all I got, guys. Keep training hard. I'll catch you all next time.